You've been scripting every single day. Your vision board is a masterpiece. You're visualizing until you can practically taste, touch, and feel your desire. You're doing everything the gurus tell you to do, but nothing is changing. That cycle of getting your hopes up, only to have them come crashing down, is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world. It can make you feel like you're going crazy, like you're the only person this stuff isn't working for. I get it, because I was stuck in that exact same loop for years. I had the bookshelf full of self-help books, I went to the seminars, and I wrote affirmations until my hand cramped. But I was just spinning my wheels, looking at my life and seeing this huge gap between where I was and where I desperately wanted to be. It wasn't until I stopped trying to do more and started figuring out why nothing was landing that everything finally started to click. So in this video, I'm not going to give you yet another technique. I'm not going to tell you to script harder or visualize longer. We're going to talk about the real reason your efforts are falling flat. We'll get into the critical mindset shifts that took me and so many others from a place of constant struggle to finally letting our desires come to life. This isn't magic. It's about understanding the psychology of creation and getting your own mind aligned with the results you want to see. Stay with me, because getting this is the key to breaking free for good. The first big mistake, and maybe the most common one, is getting really good at the techniques of manifestation, but staying a total beginner in the art of feeling. You've got a dozen different scripting methods. You know the 3-6-9 rule. You do your affirmations morning and night like clockwork. You're going through the motions, but you're doing it like a robot, without any real, genuine emotion behind it. You're treating it like a recipe. If I just follow these steps, the cake has to come out of the oven. But that's not how this works. While the law of attraction is a popular idea, it's important to know that there's no scientific evidence for a universal law that lets our thoughts physically create reality. It's more useful to look at this through a psychological lens. Your emotional state is the engine that drives your perception and your behavior. Thinking a positive thought is one thing, but actually feeling the emotional truth of that thought is something else entirely. When you visualize success, the point isn't just to watch a movie in your head. It's to actually generate the feelings of joy, relief, or gratitude that would come with it. I remember spending an hour every morning scripting pages about financial abundance. I wrote about the clients I wanted, the income I desired, the freedom. But while I was writing, my internal monologue was pure stress. I was feeling the lack of money, the pressure to make it happen, the anxiety over my bank balance. My actions to scripting were saying one thing, but my emotions were screaming the complete opposite. And my brain just kept serving up more experiences that matched how I was feeling. More stress, more pressure. The fix here is to switch your focus from the act of manifestation to the state of being. Before you write a single word or visualize a scene, your main goal should be to intentionally get into the emotion you want to feel. Instead of using a technique to get the feeling, you have to find the feeling first and let the technique flow from that place. So, how do you actually do that? First, before you even start, do something that genuinely makes you feel good. Put on a song that makes you feel unstoppable. Watch a funny video that makes you laugh. Go for a walk and just appreciate what's around you. Your only job is to feel good, just for the sake of feeling good. You're not trying to raise your vibration to get something. You're just choosing a better feeling state because you deserve it. Second, when you do start visualizing or scripting, make the emotion your main target. Instead of just picturing the new car, ask yourself, how would I actually feel driving that car? Maybe it's pride, or freedom, or safety, or just pure fun. Let that specific feeling be your guide. Immerse yourself in it until it feels real in your body. We know from neuroscience that a vividly imagined experience can trigger similar neural pathways as a real one. By practicing the feeling of your desire, you are training your mind to accept this new emotional state as normal, which then boosts your confidence, motivation, and the way you show up in the world. Think of it this way. Your thoughts are the blueprint, but your emotions are the fuel. Without the fuel, the blueprint is just a piece of paper. Stop being a manifestation robot. Prioritize feeling good, and then from that powerful state, watch how your actions become so much more effective. The second mistake You're operating from a state of lack. This next mistake is subtle, but it's a killer. It's when you do your manifestation practice, and then you immediately look around your reality to see if it's worked yet. You visualize abundance. Then you open your eyes, and your heart sinks when you see the same apartment, the same bills, the same bank account. You affirm you're in a loving relationship, and then spend the rest of the day feeling painfully alone. Every time you do this, you're basically yelling at your subconscious. See, it isn't here. It didn't work. I don't have it. This constant focus on the absence of your desire is what we call a state of lack. And psychologically, what we focus on grows. Your brain has a filtering mechanism, sometimes called the reticular activating system, that's designed to show you more of what you tell it is important. If you're constantly thinking about the lack of money, your brain will get really good at finding evidence to prove you right. You'll notice every unexpected bill, every missed opportunity, every person who seems to have more than you. It's like deciding you want a certain kind of car. Before you wanted it, you barely noticed them. The second you decide you want one, you see them everywhere. The cars were always there. Your attention just wasn't tuned to them. In the same way, if you're attuned to the frequency of not having, you become blind to the opportunities and small signs of progress that are trying to show up. You're looking for proof of failure, and your mind will give it to you every time. This was a huge one for me. I'd feel great during my morning routine, full of hope. Then I'd check my email, see no new clients, and a wave of despair would wash over me. That feeling of despair became my default state, and I took actions from that place, all-day actions that felt needy and desperate, which, big surprise, didn't lead to confident, successful outcomes. The mindset shift. Cultivate gratitude for now and for what's coming. The antidote to a lacked mindset is a serious, daily gratitude practice. And I don't just mean being thankful for what you have. It's a two-part approach that grounds you in what's good right now while building a bridge to your future. First, you have to commit to a daily gratitude list. No excuses. Every day, write down or say out loud at least 5 things you are genuinely grateful for in your life right now, and get specific. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my home. Say, I'm grateful for the way the sun hits my kitchen in the morning. This trains your brain to start scanning for positives instead of negatives. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. Second, you're going to apply that same gratitude to your desire as if it's already happened. This is a powerful form of cognitive reframing, a technique used in therapy to shift perspective. Instead of writing, I want a promotion. You're right. I am so incredibly grateful for my new role as director. I feel so fulfilled by this work, and I'm so thankful for the amazing team I get to lead. See the shift? You're not asking or wanting. You are thanking. You're putting yourself in the emotional state of already having it. When you combine these two things, something powerful happens. Gratitude for your present life gets rid of that desperate, needy feeling. It tells your mind, I'm already whole. I'm already blessed. From that place of fullness, you can look at your desires, not as something you need to be happy, but as a fun, exciting expansion of the good you already have. This takes all the pressure off and allows you to go after your goals with a sense of play instead of fear. You stop checking to see if it has arrived because you're too busy being thankful for what's here and what's on its way. By the way, if this is hitting home and you're realizing you've been stuck in some of these traps, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We talk about the real, no-fluff psychology of creating a life you actually love every single week. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which one of these mistakes has been your biggest hurdle? Sometimes just sharing it is the first step to moving past it. The mindset shift. Cultivate gratitude for now and for what's coming. The antidote to a lacked mindset is a serious, daily gratitude practice. And I don't just mean being thankful for what you have. It's a two-part approach that grounds you in what's good right now while building a bridge to your future. First, you have to commit to a daily gratitude list. No excuses. Every day, write down or say out loud at least 5 things you are genuinely grateful for in your life right now, and get specific. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my home. Say, I'm grateful for the way the sun hits my kitchen in the morning. This trains your brain to start scanning for positives instead of negatives. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. Second, you're going to apply that same gratitude to your desire as if it's already happened. This is a powerful form of cognitive reframing, a technique used in therapy to shift perspective. Instead of writing, "I want a promotion," you're right, "I am so incredibly grateful for my new role as director. I feel so fulfilled by this work, and I'm so thankful for the amazing team I get to lead." See the shift? You're not asking or wanting. You are thanking. You're putting yourself in the emotional state of already having it. When you combine these two things, something powerful happens. Gratitude for your present life gets rid of that desperate, needy feeling. It tells your mind, "I'm already whole. I'm already blessed." From that place of fullness, you can look at your desires, not as something you need to be happy, but as a fun, exciting expansion of the good you already have. This takes all the pressure off and allows you to go after your goals with a sense of play instead of fear. You stop checking to see if it has arrived because you're too busy being thankful for what's here and what's on its way. By the way, if this is hitting home and you're realizing you've been stuck in some of these traps, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We talk about the real, no fluff psychology of creating a life you actually love every single week. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which one of these mistakes has been your biggest hurdle? Sometimes just sharing it is the first step to moving past it. The third mistake. Your subconscious is sabotaging. You can have the most positive conscious mind on the planet. You can say your affirmations with total conviction and visualize perfectly all day long. But if your subconscious mind holds a contradictory belief, you are driving a car with one foot on the gas and one foot slammed on the brake. You're just going to burn a lot of rubber and go nowhere. Your subconscious is the huge, powerful library of every experience, lesson, and belief you've picked up over your life, especially from when you were little. It runs your automatic habits, your emotional reactions, and your deep down assumptions about how the world works. If you grew up hearing things like money is the root of all evil, or you have to work yourself to the bone to get by, or you had a bad breakup that made you believe I'm not worthy of love, those aren't just memories. They are active programs running in the background of your mind. So you might be consciously affirming, "I am a magnet for wealth." But if your subconscious program says, "Rich people are greedy, and I'm a good person, so I can't be rich," you have a major conflict. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. Your subconscious, trying to protect you and keep things consistent with its old beliefs, will actively sabotage you. It will make you miss opportunities, make bad financial choices, or feel overwhelming guilt when you start to succeed, causing you to pull back. I saw this so clearly in my own life. I wanted to build a business, but I had this deep belief that being visible was dangerous and that I'd be judged. So every time I had a chance to promote myself, I'd suddenly get hit with a mysterious urge to procrastinate. I'd need to reorganize my entire office or decide my website wasn't perfect enough yet. It wasn't laziness. It was my subconscious protecting me from a perceived threat based on old, outdated programming. The mindset shift: become an archaeologist of your beliefs. To fix this, you have to stop plastering positive affirmations over a cracked foundation. You need to become an archaeologist of your own mind and dig up those limiting beliefs. The first step is to identify them. Get a journal and write your main desire at the top of the page. Let's say it's, "I want to earn $200,000 a year doing what I love." Now, just sit with that and notice what immediately pops up. What are the yeah buts? Yeah, but I don't have the right degree. Yeah, but the economy is terrible. Yeah, but who am I to charge that much? Write down every single doubt and fear that comes to mind without judging it. That's your list of limiting beliefs. The second step is to question them. Go through that list and challenge each one. This is a core part of cognitive behavioral therapy, where you identify and replace unhelpful thoughts. For the belief, "I don't have the right degree," ask yourself, is that 100% true? Can I find any proof of people who are successful in this field without that degree? The answer is almost always yes. Then create a new, empowering belief to replace it. This is your new affirmation. For example, my unique experience and my passion are more valuable than any degree. My results speak for themselves. Third, you have to install this new belief. Repetition is everything. Your old beliefs were built through years of repetition, so you have to be just as dedicated with the new ones. Repeat your new affirmations every day, especially when you first wake up and right before bed, when the subconscious mind is more open to suggestion. But don't just say the words. Try to feel the truth of them. For really deep-seated blocks, you could explore tools like the emotional freedom technique or tapping. EFT involves tapping on specific points on the body while talking through your fears and while the scientific evidence for its effectiveness is still limited and considered controversial. Some people find it to be a useful tool for reducing the emotional charge tied to negative beliefs. You're not just changing a thought. You're trying to update the emotional data connected to it. This kind of work isn't a one-and-done fix. It's an ongoing process. But every limiting belief you uncover and reframe is like pulling a giant weed out of your garden. It frees up so much energy and clears the path for the things you actually want to grow. The fourth mistake, you're trying to control the how and the when. This mistake is born from a deep lack of trust. You've set your goal. You're doing the inner work. But you have a very rigid idea of exactly how it needs to happen and when it needs to happen. You've decided you'll meet your soulmate on Tinder, that your dream job has to come from Google, or that the money must be in your account by the first of the month. When you do this, you become attached to the outcome, and this attachment creates a ton of anxiety and resistance. Your energy becomes rigid and controlling. You're trying to micromanage the universe. It's like getting in a canoe and trying to paddle furiously upstream against the current. Instead of just steering and letting the current carry you, you just end up exhausted and getting nowhere. Plus, this tunnel vision makes you blind to all the other ways your desire could show up. The perfect partner might be someone your friend wants to introduce you to. A better, more fulfilling job might come from a company you've never even heard of. The money could come from an unexpected refund or a forgotten investment. But if you're so hyper-focused on your one pre-approved plan, you'll miss these opportunities completely. You'll write them off because they don't fit the tiny picture you've created. My own journey is proof of this. For years, I was convinced the only way to be a successful writer was to get a big book deal in New York. I poured all my energy into query letters and proposals for that one world. I was miserable, facing constant rejection, and totally blind to the explosion of online content, self-publishing, and courses. The path to the life I wanted was right there, but I couldn't see it because I was so attached to how it was supposed to look. It was only when I finally surrendered, let go of the how, and just focused on the essence of what I wanted to write and connect with people that this new, much better path showed up. The mindset shift, detach from the outcome, fall in love with the essence. The solution here is to practice detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring about your goal. It means you release your death grip on the specific details of how it gets here. You shift your focus from the form to the essence. First, get really clear on the feeling you're actually chasing. If you want more money, do you want the paper itself, or do you want the feeling of freedom, security, and generosity you think the money will bring? If you want a relationship, do you want the label of partner, or do you want the feeling of connection, intimacy, and being deeply understood? The feeling is the essence. The specific job, or person, or number is just one of many possible channels for that feeling. Once you're clear on the essence, your job is to trust. Trust that there's a flow to life that is way more creative than your conscious mind. Your job is to hold the vision of the essence, to feel those feelings of freedom or connection now, and then let go of how it shows up. A powerful way to practice this is to add the phrase ... or something better to the end of your intentions. I am open to receiving this amazing new job, or something better. I welcome my ideal partner into my life, or someone even more perfect for me. This simple phrase creates so much flexibility. It signals to your own mind that you're open to surprises. It transforms your energy from controlling to receptive. Detaching from the how and when is an act of deep trust. It's saying that you're worthy of your desire, and you don't need to force or manipulate reality to get it. You just need to align with the feeling of it and then allow the path of least resistance to show up. The fifth mistake. You're mistaking inaction for trust. This is the final, critical piece of the puzzle, and it's where a lot of people go wrong. They hear let go and surrender, and they interpret it as do nothing. They think if they just visualize hard enough, their dream job will call them out of the blue, or a check will magically appear in the mail without them lifting a finger. This is a huge misunderstanding. Positive thinking alone, without taking action in the real world, is just wishful thinking. The entire point of aligning your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs is to set the stage for a new kind of action. There are two kinds of action: forced action and inspired action. Forced action comes from lack and fear. It's the hustle and grind culture. It feels heavy, stressful, and draining. It's making 100 cold calls a day because you have to. It's swiping endlessly on dating apps because you're afraid of being alone. This kind of action usually leads to burnout and rarely gets you what you want because the needy energy behind it is all wrong. Inspired action, on the other hand, is the natural result of your alignment. Once you've cultivated the feeling, cleared the limiting beliefs, and detached from the how, you will start to get these intuitive nudges, ideas, and gut feelings. An inspired action feels light, exciting, and energizing, even if it's a little scary. It's the sudden urge to text an old friend who just happens to know someone hiring for your dream role. It's a great idea that pops into your head for a new business. It's the spontaneous decision to go to a new coffee shop where you end up talking to your future partner. Trust isn't about sitting on the couch waiting for a delivery. Trust is listening for those nudges and having the courage to act on them, even if they don't make perfect logical sense. Inaction isn't faith. It's usually just fear in disguise: fear of failure, fear of what people will think, fear of the unknown. The mindset shift: become a co-creator through inspired action. Your final mindset shift is to see yourself not as a passive victim of your life. Your job is to set your internal world straight through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in. Then listen carefully for the guidance that shows up. So how do you recognize inspired action? First, practice being present and create some quiet space in your life. You can't hear the whisper of intuition if your mind is constantly screaming with noise and distractions. Just a few minutes of meditation or quiet time each day can create the space you need to hear these nuts. Second, learn the difference between the feeling of inspiration and the feeling of should. An inspired idea feels expansive and exciting. A should feels heavy and draining, like an obligation. Pay attention to your body. Inspiration often feels like a burst of energy, while forced action can feel like tension in your shoulders. Third, start small. You don't have to wait for some huge, life-changing sign from the heavens. Start by following the small nudges. If you get a random thought to read a certain book, read it. If you feel the urge to take a different route home, take it. Each time you follow a small impulse, and it leads to a cool little coincidence, you build your trust muscle. You prove to yourself that this inner guidance system is real. Creating the life you want is a dance between being and doing. The being is the internal work, the feeling, the believing, the letting go. The doing is the inspired action you take in the real world. You can't have one without the other. Stop waiting to be rescued. Do the inner work to align your mind, and then listen. When that spark of inspiration hits, your job is to act on it. That is how you close the gap between your inner world and your outer reality. So, the real reason your efforts might be failing has little to do with what technique you're using. The breakdown is happening on a much deeper level. It's about shifting from just doing things to actually feeling them. It's about moving from a mindset of lack to one of deep gratitude. It's about digging up your old, limiting beliefs instead of just papering over them. It's about letting go of the rigid how and when and trusting the process. And most importantly, it's understanding that trust requires courageous, inspired action, not just sitting around and waiting. These aren't just tricks. They are fundamental shifts in how you see yourself and your life. It takes self-awareness and honesty, but the reward is a life that flows with more ease. more joy, and more of what you truly want. The power was never in the vision board or the script. It has been, and always will be, inside of you. You are the creator. Now, go create. Comment, you're ready to start creating.